You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. I'm Laura Natoli.
And I'm Holly Silva, and we are best friends since birth turned multi-passionate entrepreneurs and co-owners of Chores and More, a successful service-based business where everybody is treated like a best friend.
Welcome to our show where tactical business education meets fun and real conversations about this wild journey called life.
Get ready to be inspired. Grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Yes, an episode of Hustled Up. I was like, is that what it's called? It is.
Yes. Crazy.
My name is Holly, and I'm losing my mind today.
And my name is Laura, and it's Friday, so I feel like you're allowed to lose your mind.
Touche. You've got a point. You've got a point. And I'm so excited for today's episode because y'all can finally start leaving me alone now. You can start leaving me alone. I'm just kidding. But the amount of people who slide into my DM saying, Holly, I love your podcast. Can you tell me how to start one? And I'm like, Google does low-key exist, but we decided to create an episode because I just don't have time to take everybody through all the things that we do to do our podcast. So I figured we would take this little piece of podcast real estate and dedicate it towards like a very beginner friendly how to do a podcast episode, like very, very simple, like starting your podcast, what platform we use, what platform maybe you want to use, the equipment that we use, and all of that good stuff. So we're really just going to get down to the basics. This is podcasting 101. So if you've been wanting to start a podcast, and there's a chance you've slid into my DMs. If you did, hello, you've received the link to this episode. Then please keep on watching.
Are you tired of spending your entire weekend cleaning when you could be going out to brunch with your girls?
First of all, I love brunch. And second of all, yes, there are so many things I could be doing instead of cleaning my house on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like playing video games.
Or watching a movie with the kids.
Going on a date with your significant other.
Taking your dog to the dog park.
Going to the movies.
Solving world hunger.
Yes! Exactly. So this is why it is such a good idea to call up Chores and More for your deep and recurring cleaning needs.
And do you want to know something really, really cool?
What?
If anybody mentions Hustled Up when they call to book, they can receive up to $100 off their deep cleaning.
Up to $100 off. What are you doing still sitting there? Pick up the phone now, mention our podcast, and never have to spend your weekends cleaning again.
Simply go to choresandmorellc.com. You can fill out our request quote form there, or give us a call, send us a text, 631-397-0177. It is time to get back to doing the things you love. Let us take care of the cleaning.
Okay, we are back, and I'm so excited, like I said, because podcasting is so much fun. And there are ways to get paid through podcasting. It's something that Laura and I do not do yet. We do not monetize off of our podcast. So we are giving you all of the information for free. And actually, now that I just remembered it, I skipped a very important step. Before we get into today's topic, I'm going to go ahead and remind you that if you like what you hear today, and if you appreciate us taking the time to teach you how to do your own podcast, to please leave us 5 stars and a review wherever you are listening. You can do so on Apple Podcasts. You can leave 5 stars on Spotify. And if you are here from YouTube, if you could give us a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel, we would love you forever. But anyway, podcasting. It is so much fun. Laura and I have been doing it for actually quite a few years. We had a different podcast before we started this one. Would rather not dive into that because it was like a little rated R, I can't lie.
Very different than this podcast. Very different.
Very different. Very different. And most of those episodes are no longer even in the atmosphere of the world. So
thank God.
But we've been doing it. But we have been doing it for a long time. I think we started that podcast in 2018, and then we switched over to Hustled Up in, I think, 2022. I'm pretty sure.
Wow. We've been doing this for that long?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So it's been a long time. So when we first started our first podcast, not a lot of this equipment was even around, like this technology. And I remember I was hosting so I don't even remember what I did to host that, but we were using SoundCloud, which is for podcasting a little outdated. Like I would say that's better for music. So I don't recommend SoundCloud. But it just didn't have the same integrations that what we use has. So with that being said, we're going to talk about what we use. So let's just get right into it. We use Spotify. No. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had a brain fart. Okay. I was like, wait.
It's Friday.
I'll be okay.
You're right.
We use literally. So when you make a podcast, the first thing is first, you need a host. You need to host your podcast through something. Now, some people just use YouTube, and that's totally okay. And it's actually very simple to do that as well. And we use YouTube in one aspect, and then we also use Spotify for podcasters. And the reason why we love using this platform is because it creates a feed. I believe it's called an RSS feed. And what this does is when you upload to Spotify for podcasters, like when you upload your episodes, it pushes it out to all the platforms that you want to be on. So it pushes it out to Apple Podcasts for us, to Spotify for us, Google Podcasts. I think we're also on iHeartRadio. Like we're on a lot of really fun platforms, and basically anywhere that has this RSS feed. And Spotify for podcasters gives you that feed, and it's so simple to literally log in after you make your account and just attach that feed to all of the different platforms that you want to drop your podcast on. The other thing that we love about Spotify for podcasters is that it is free. So
that's my favorite part.
That's the best part.
Because especially if you're not making money from your podcast, I mean, we do pay for Riverside, which we'll get into, but it's totally fine to invest your time, but when you're not getting paid for something, you don't really want to invest your money unless you have to.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning. Yeah. I totally agree with that, Laura. And a lot of people do podcasting as a hobby. Like a lot of people don't even do it to really make money. I mean, eventually Laura and I do want to monetize, and we'd love to start maybe coaching or just having some workshops. Like those are things that are definitely coming that we need to use this podcast to. Our podcast will basically publicize those things and all that stuff. So eventually we do have that goal, but some people don't. So you really don't want to be spending all this money on fancy technology and fancy equipment. And it's just not necessary. So, and I think Spotify for podcasters is the best one. You do need a Spotify account, but I don't think you need a premium account. But also I feel like everybody has a Spotify account, but it's
Spotify is totally worth it.
Totally worth it. I mean,
if you don't have Spotify, get Spotify.
So we have Spotify accounts, of course. But like I said, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure if you need a premium account, but you do need a Spotify account regardless. And that's what you use to log into Spotify for podcasters. Now, when Laura and I first started podcasting, we did not do video. And I kind of regret moving to video sometimes because I have to make myself look pretty so much more often. Like we used to record our podcast. Now we're trying to do the whole work-life balance thing. So we record during the day, as you can see. But we used to hop on at 8:00 at night. I would be in my pajamas. My hair is a mess right now, but that's neither here nor there. It was even worse. I never had makeup on. I was in my pajamas, slippers, the whole nine. And we would just hop on and record. And what's really cool is that you can record right through the app on your phone. So we used to use the Spotify for Podcasters app. And we would just literally, when we first started, we just connected our headphones right to our phones. So I used the Apple headphones, the corded ones. I don't really recommend using cordless because sometimes the Bluetooth makes it a little finicky, makes the recording a little finicky. We prefer wired headphones. And Laura used the ones that she's wearing now.
Yeah.
And you connected them with a dongle, right?
Yep, I just plugged a dongle into the iPhone and it was so easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And the sound quality's good. Is it perfectly crispy? No. I think even now our sound quality is not 100% perfect because we haven't invested those heavy bucks into that really good stuff. But it was good for what it was. It was excellent. So you really don't need fancy equipment. All you need is a smartphone and a pair of headphones that you can plug into your smartphone. That's really all you need when you're starting off, if you're okay with not doing video. So I'm just going to recap really quick on this. All you need is a Spotify account. Then you need to make a Spotify for Podcasters account. And that's where you'll set up your podcast. You'll give it a name. You'll do your cover art. You can make cover art in Canva. You don't need to even pay for Canva. You can use the free version, even though if you're not paying for Canva, I don't know what the hell you're doing because Canva is life. I use Canva for everything. I used to be anti-Canva because I just didn't know how to use it. And now I'm obsessed with Canva. It's my lifeline. I would be positively dead without Canva. But you can create your cover art on there. they have tons of templates, some of which are free that you can just use to kind of, and then just change out the wording, whatever you decide to name your podcast, and do it that way. So you don't need startup money to make a podcast. All you need is that Spotify account, Spotify for Podcasters account, your phone that you already have, because we all have a smartphone and a pair of headphones. And if you don't have a pair of headphones, you can definitely find them for cheap. But they have to have a microphone attached to them. Don't forget that. They have to have a microphone attached to them, which I feel like most do nowadays. But
Yeah.
either way, you still need to make sure that they plug into your phone. Like whatever, all the plugs are different now. I can't even keep up. I cannot even keep up. So whatever it is, that's all you need. That's it. You're welcome. Go on, children. Start your podcasts. We're all finished.
Honestly, you could end it there, but I feel like the other thing to keep in mind too is I feel like done is better than perfect, right? We say that all the time.
Yes.
And when you're starting off, don't wait until you have a perfect scenario, because you'll put it off. You'll put it off for months and months and months. Oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to save. I'm going to get the perfect mic. I'm going to get the perfect headphones, blah, 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 blah. You will find every excuse in the book not to start. Holly and I just started. We started with what we had. We didn't invest any money, and then we built ourselves up. We slowly started investing in better equipment. We moved to video podcasts. So just start where you are. You can always invest and increase your quality over time. So don't overthink it.
Yeah, don't overthink.
Period.
That's so great to say, because I do feel like the amount of people I see online who are like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm just getting my equipment together and I'm working on getting all these fancy guests on it. And, you know, I want to make sure I get a good webcam, whatever. Like if you want to do video, like people just wait and wait and wait. And then they put it off and they put it off. Just do it. Like done is better than perfect. How many times do we have to say it? Thank you, Debbie. But seriously, like just do it. Like people will listen. People will listen. So just do it. I think that's great, Laura. Great little mindset tip there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to take your podcast a step further and you want to do video, you can do that without fancy equipment too. Fun fact. What we use is a software called Riverside. And what's beautiful about Riverside is that they are integrated with Spotify for Podcasters. So they're connected. There is a free version of Riverside. I don't know the difference between what's included and what. We use a paid version. And again, I don't remember what it costs. I should have did this research before we hopped on. But again, done is better than perfect. So you can just literally go to riverside.fm. That's the website, riverside.fm, and you can look at their packages. But the paid version, I think, is better because you get a lot more space for recording. And I think you also get magic clips with that and stuff like that, which I will explain all this. You get a lot of really cool features. And what we use, like what I am on right now, what I am on is a laptop, like just my regular work laptop. I use a Lenovo. And my laptop comes with a webcam. You can use the webcam that's attached. Laura and I did buy some webcams that like external webcams that attach via USB from Amazon, and they're decent. Are they perfect? No, but they're decent. They're better than what the webcam on the computer was. So we were like,
oh yeah.
And then you're also going to need, if you're going to do video, you're going to need a microphone or headphones with an attached mic. So, you know, you can really just simplify. You don't have to drive yourself crazy. I am using for my microphone, I'm using a blue Snowball, I think it's called. Oh, sorry. I lifted it, not
Snowball.
realizing I'm talking in it. And it's okay. It's the cheaper of the blue microphones. Blue is a good brand. It's highly recommended. I think I can find some better brands. To be honest, I really want to get a Razer mic, but that's just fancy. Like they light up, and that's what the ASMR
how much
girlies.
are those?
The one I have in my cart, I think, is like $130.
All right. So it's pricey,
not terrible.
but as far as mics go, that's not terrible.
It's a pink microphone that literally lights up at the top.
Oh,
So
that's
cute.
hot. That's hot.
That's hot. I see the girlies on on TikTok doing the ASMR with their like pink microphones, you know? And I'm like, I want that.
Yeah. Did I do it?
They go, ASMR, pluck. You gotta pluck the sadness. I look weird. Look at my head. Like, okay. Anyway, good thing I don't have like a bald spot. Anyway, or something. Imagine you saw it and like I had like lice in there just crawling around.
Oh my God.
That'd be so scary. Anyway, I don't. Why am I getting crazy? Okay. So anyway, Blue snowballs are great. I think these are what did you pay for these? Do you remember?
Those were like around 50, I believe. They were, and this was a few years ago. That was when we started our older podcast. I bought a few blue snowballs and they were like close to $50 each. And if you're not sure what to get, go into your local store. I mean, of course you can go on Amazon, but I feel like people forget stores still existed. So I knew nothing about mics. I walked into the local Best Buy and said, hey, I'm starting a podcast. Can you recommend some mics? This is my budget. And they helped me. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions because people are willing to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're using a different mic. As you can see, Laura's got the fancy mic.
I didn't buy it, to be fair. It was a gift from the lovely and beautiful Tracy, who came on one of our very first episodes. We got to get Tracy back on here, by the way.
We
Side
do.
note.
Especially now
She
that we
was
do
on-
video. Oh, gotta have her beautiful face on.
I know. She's amazing.
She's incredible.
If you haven't listened to her episode, go listen to it. I feel like it's episode 4. It was one of the very early ones with Tracy McClendon. But she actually gifted me this podcast, I believe, for Christmas or my birthday. This microphone, not this podcast.
I
She
wasn't
didn't
going to
gift me the
correct it. I was
podcast.
just going to let you roll with it.
No, I had to correct it.
You
She
realize
gifted
that's
me
so
this-
late. You were like, she gifted me this podcast, blah, blah, blah. That was funny. That was cute.
That's not right.
That was
She
cute. You had to
gifted
like
me-
rewind. Like,
Yeah. Like, she gifted me this microphone, and it's a Blue Yeti Nano, I believe, and I do really like it. And I feel like the sound quality on it's pretty good. Again, is it the absolute best? I feel like for us to get the best, crispiest sound, we would probably have to be in a podcasting studio because we're just in our offices. I mean, Holly's literally on the other side of that wall. We don't always have peace and quiet. We're business owners, so our phones are always going off in the background. I'm sure you've noticed and heard it. So we don't have the most ideal setup. But again, we're doing the best we can. And I feel like the sound quality is pretty good for what it is.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah.
For a while, Laura was recording and she didn't realize that
Oh my God.
she didn't have her, like, it wasn't attached. She didn't have the setting correct for her mic, so she was using her computer mic.
Yeah, not knowing it. And Holly was like, wow, your sound sounds really bad. Is your mic turned to the right setting? And I was like, nope. And she was like, how long has it been going on? And I was like, since I got this mic. Yep. So
Yeah.
remember to switch those settings, people.
Yeah. It's really cool because Riverside is super easy too. Like when you go into they call it a studio. This is where you go to do your recording. It actually lets you connect to whatever you're using. So, and it's super easy. It's like the click of a button where you connect to your microphone once it's plugged in, you connect your webcam once it's plugged in, you plug in your headphones, and literally there's a button that says, I am using headphones. And the reason why you want to make sure you use headphones, whether or not you have an external mic, is because this is going to help filter out outside noise.
That's a
So
great
you
point.
always want to, yes. So you always want to use headphones, whether or not they have the mic attached or you're using an external mic. You always want to have that because that's why you can't hear, like, if we didn't have headphones on, you would hear me from Laura's microphone.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
and the
the-
lawnmower guy outside. I can hear it, but
Mhm.
you can't hear him because of these microphones.
Can't hear-
Oh my God, are we having a stroke today?
I don't
Like,
know.
what is going on? We keep saying the wrong thing. What is going on?
It's Friday. I'm tired.
It is Friday.
tired.
But that's why you don't hear him because of my headphones.
I actually
not my
can't hear a
microphone.
thing.
Oh,
Like
no,
I can't hear it. It's so
I
funny.
hear it. There's a lawnmower outside.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So we are using, in terms of headphones, we're using the brand Razer. I'm using the Shark V2 something or other, and I don't recommend them. I've had issues with mine since I first got them, but I paid money for them. I do have a warranty. I just have to find the box. It's somewhere. And hopefully I can get them replaced. But I have issues with the sound only coming in on one ear. And I just personally, I'm not a huge fan of these, but they're so cute.
They're cute.
They're so
They're
cute.
so
So I
cute.
use them because I can still hear. It's just that sometimes the sound gets a little weird. But and Laura's using a Razer.
I'm glad you know what I'm using because I don't know what I'm using.
They're
I'm so glad
I-
you know.
you're using Razer headphones. I don't know what kind you're using, but Laura's hoping to have a new. Hoping to have a new pair of fancy headphones for Christmas. We'll see.
Yes, by this time next January, I'm gonna have the cute little cracking kitty with the lime green and the glow. This is my boyfriend's headphones, and he keeps asking me for them, and then I just keep forgetting to bring them home for him. So I just hijacked my boyfriend's, which is why I don't know what they are, but they work. They're great.
Yeah, they're good.
Love them.
Yeah, the Razer's a great brand. I don't know if I just had like an issue with mine or what it is, but these particular ones that I'm using, the Shark V2 something or other, they're just not giving for me. So I did order, and I do have a new pair of headphones at home, but I've been nervous to unbox them because they're.
You need to unbox them when I get mine, so that we can show up like, bam, new headphones
with our little ears, because I got the Hello Kitty. I got the Hello Kitty Razer collab headphones. They're so cute.
So cute.
Anyway.
So cute. We'll bust those out together. It would be like, bam, maybe like a new season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we use in terms of equipment and technology. That's what we use. It's very simple. It's not complicated. There's so many like, I don't want to say automations, but like everything is just integrated now. So you don't have to go create like I had to do all that stuff when we first started our old podcast manually. Like I had to create the RSS feed. I had to go into SoundCloud and do this and that. It was like 100 steps. It was very complicated. We were recording like using the absolute worst technology. And then we were editing in Audacity, which actually Audacity is great if you don't use Riverside for editing. Riverside comes with an editor. So now that we do video, we edit through Riverside. But if you decide you don't want to do video and you just want to do audio, you can record it in Spotify for podcasters and you can edit in Audacity. I also do think that Spotify for podcasters has an editing tool as well, though. I'm pretty sure it does.
The editor too in Riverside is so easy. It's so easy. It's so user friendly. And Riverside, what they do so well, because when we first decided to use this platform, I freaked out and I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to figure out how to use it because I'm not the best with technology. So I just hopped on YouTube, and the amount of videos that they have explaining every little step is phenomenal. Like they did a great job of explaining how to do everything. So if you are using Riverside and you're not the best with technology and you get a little intimidated, type any question you have right into YouTube, and I guarantee they will have a video explaining how to troubleshoot that issue. Just Google, just search things, man. I feel like a lot of people forget that. They get so confused and complicated. They overcomplicate everything. And it's like a simple Google or YouTube search. You can learn just about anything. I could probably learn open heart surgery on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
I know. It's like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend learned how to fix our electric garage, like automatic garage. Like it's not a manual, like you don't open it manually. It's like with buttons. He just like learned how to fix it through YouTube.
Wow.
And we saved hundreds of dollars. It was like crazy.
But
you can like literally learn anything on YouTube. But I know that what happens is, and I feel like this is why a lot of people have come to me personally and asked me like, how do I start a podcast? Because when you YouTube something or Google something, you're getting it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? Like you're getting information from all different ends and different opinions and different recommendations and all these things. So that's why we wanted to come on here and kind of just tell you like what we use and just let you know that it works for us. It's nothing crazy. It's cost effective. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need fancy apps, and you don't need to pay all this crazy money. So that's why I wanted to create this episode. I told Laura, I was like, I need something where I can just like send a link out so that you guys can listen. So I hope that it was helpful for you guys. I really do. And we can definitely do more podcast like tip episodes and stuff, like, because I have so much more I want to say in terms of like content and things like that. But I don't want to keep this too long because I know you guys are so excited to just go get your podcast started. I think for me and Laura, we both are so we should talk. I really want to talk about the Kolbe assessment, like in detail. Laura and I took a Kolbe assessment, which is how we get work done, like how like we operate when it comes to getting projects done and things like that. And we both scored high on what is called the quick start. And so when we like think of something, we just like, there's no like research stage. Like I just do it to a point where it's like a little bit of a fault sometimes because I've made like bad decisions doing that, thinking like, it's fine, just do it. You know what I mean? And so when Laura and I started both of our podcasts, I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just gonna download this. I think I went on a podcast with another Like I went on a different podcast. I don't remember. I think it was called Fancy Plans and Things Radio. I don't think she's podcasting anymore, but she was using Spotify for podcasters. Back then it was called Anchor. And I was like, Laura, let's use Anchor. Like didn't even research it. Didn't even know what it was. Like I just knew that like I went on, it worked. She had a great podcast. And I was like, let's just do it. There was like, I did not ask any questions about it. I just did it. And I feel like from what I'm seeing when all of you are asking me about how to start a podcast, you're overthinking it. Don't overthink it. Download Spotify for podcasters. It's going to guide you on how to do it. And if you want to do video, consider Riverside. That's it. It's very simple. It's fun. And yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I don't want to get into like the
like the more,
of things.
yeah, I was going to say, I would love to do a whole separate episode on that because so that we don't muck up this episode with too much information. I would love to do an episode about, podcast topics, how to decide what your main topic is going to be, how you pick episode topic ideas. I would love to do a whole separate episode more about the creative side of podcasting rather than the, strategical side of podcasting. So we should put that on the list.
Awesome. We definitely will. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And if it was, again, leave us that review. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. We would appreciate it so much. And if you want to connect with us, you can go ahead and find us at Hustled Up Podcast on Instagram. And we are also at Chores and More on Instagram. That's our cleaning business. And on TikTok. And we like to share a lot about this podcast on that channel as well. And then all of my personal stuff is going to be down below.
Yeah. And I'm just Laura Anatoli on everything. Go find me and I'd love to chat.
But don't ask me how to start a podcast because I don't want to. I don't want to hear it.
No, DMs are open for everything except that question. Literally
Except
everything else. You want to ask me how to cook penne alla vodka? I'll tell you. On the podcast.
And if you do, I'm sending you this link and take the time and listen to it. It's very helpful. So hopefully you guys thought the same. Thank you so much for listening and we'll see you next week.
Bye.